Hello, you're watching yet another episode of In Person with me, Lakshmi Baker, and today we're going to interview another really stirring personality. I'm so excited to be interviewing him. He's none other than Yang Berbahagia academician, Tan Sri Emeritus Professor Datuk, Dr. Augustine Ong Soon Hock. A mouthful, but I have absolutely no qualms about it because a discussion on Malaysian palm oil rarely takes place without the mention of Tan Sri Ong, because he is considered by many to be the father figure in the Malaysian palm oil industry. You received the Merdeka Awards 2012 in the category of Health, Science and Technology, you know, for your outstanding, and I've studied you, it's absolutely outstanding in the research of and development of the chemistry and technology of palm oil, and also because you've been advocating and promoting the Malaysian palm oil industry so much to the world. Now, talking about promoting palm oil to the world, Tan Sri, there has been a problem which concluded in 1989 about the reception that palm oil got in the international front. Can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of challenges did palm oil take during that time, and if it has been resolved today?
Well, palm oil also a new entrant into the world of oils and fats. But overall, you look at through analysis, you look at the amount saturated fatty acid in palm oil is about 40 to 50%. So it's quite high compared to other oils. Soya bean about 26%, canola oil about 6%. And because of that, and because of the theory of Keith Anderson, people conclude that palm oil, because of the saturated, must be bad for your heart.
Is saturated fat bad for your health? Is it directly bad for someone's health, so to speak?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. You need saturation, you need mono, you need poly. You need a balance.
All right.
But there's also animal-based saturated fat and plant-based.
Right.
So, in the case of palm oil, we know that this oil has been used for 5,000 years.
It has.
Yeah, in Egypt, for example. And there was no problem. We are producing millions of tons with export to the world. There's no case of people suffering from it.
Right.
We also tested this oil, and there was a report from a work in Holland and published in the Nutrition Review, and the conclusion is that palm oil does not behave like saturated fat.
Though it has a higher content of saturated fat, it does not behave.
It does not behave.
How is that possible?
This is very interesting. In fact, I mean, we have done a lot of human studies, animal studies, human studies, that palm oil is not adverse to heart disease. But how do you explain that?
Right.
I have published a work in 2002 in the United Nations on food and nutrition bulletin.
Right.
And to show that because of the position, the palm oil, all oil and fat have got a structure like a tuning fork. The music, you have tuning fork, and so in the tuning fork, you have three positions. You have 1, 2, and 3. And now this is interesting. But we found out that at the second position of the molecule, it's highly unsaturated.
So that's what creates the effect.
The effect of palm oil.
Right.
So 90% of the fatty acid in the second position is unsaturated.
Interesting, isn't it?
And then you compare to animal fat, and lard, and even human milk, second position is highly saturated.
Right, that's really interesting.
But for babies, you need the saturation to increase the weight increase, but animal fat, that's highly saturated. So, say lard and palm oil, although they have similar overall composition, lard will raise your blood cholesterol, palm oil does not.
Right. And this whole myth, so to speak, about oil being bad for your health, can you explain a little bit more about this
Number one,
misconception of oil?
this is being overdone, I think.
Yeah.
You need oils and fats
Yeah.
because you have some of your vitamins are fat soluble. So WHO, recommends that you should consume about 20 to 22 kilograms of oil and fat per person per year.
Okay.
And then your overall energy from oil and fat should be about 30%. And so that is optimum consumption of oils and fats.
And a lot of people feel that oils make them fat, but there's no real correlation between oils and building fat tissues in the body, is there?
Okay, then there is, but this is depending on the structure.
Okay.
That's why, so in my paper in United Nations Bulletin, we say about it's important where the fatty acids are located in the molecule.
Okay.
Now, I've just got a paper published in British Journal of Nutrition,
Okay.
and we show that palm oil has got perfect structure because the major fatty acid at the different position, the middle position is mainly unsaturated.
As you mentioned earlier.
But the end position, 1,3 position, is palmitic, which is long chain saturated.
Okay.
And because they are long chain saturated fatty acids, they are not easily reabsorbed in your stomach.
Oh, okay.
And so they are excreted. And so, in fact, palm oil is less fattening.
Right. So most of it is not really digested by the body. So when you consume it, it's not really going to go in. I mean, stay in the body.
Then some of it will not be retained because the long chain saturated fatty acids are excreted.
Right. So with that much of benefits, why still the opposition from the West? And you played a significant role in the program to counter the anti-palm oil campaign in 1987 to 1989, which came to a favorable conclusion in 1989. But recently, your colleague, Dr. Ahmad Ibrahim, the CEO of the Academy of Sciences, just published an article about new threats of, that under the guise of saving the environment, some nations' laws impede the import of palm oil.
Okay.
Why is this still happening when obviously research
to
has
understand
shown
what is happening? It is a trade issue. Trade war. I mean, it's a trade. It is a trade matter under the guise of health and environment.
Okay, we want to know more about what Tan Sri means by trade issues. To find out about that, we need to stick around, and I'll see you right after this break. Hi, welcome back. You're still watching In Person with me, Lakshmi Baker. Now, when I left you just now, Tan Sri was telling us that it was the trade issues that is causing palm oil to not be able to break the barriers into Western supermarkets, so to speak. So we want to know more about what are these trade issues you're talking about, because in the 80s, you actually managed to advise the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and about the nutritional aspects of palm oil, and also you managed to advise American media and nutritionists and establish several nutrition advisory committees. When all of this has already happened in the 80s, why are we still facing this barrier at this point in time?
As you said, often it's a trade issue. There's competition within palm oil and other vegetable oil.
Right.
What I want to mention that since 80s, we have been doing a lot of research and we have published this, in peer-reviewed journals. So we have 4 or 5 issues published. So all the properties are recorded. So it's available. Some of the information is available actually from MPOC website.
Right. And when it's accessible and readily available these days with our latest technology and the internet and whatnot, people can read for themselves about the benefits. So even if the trade issues are going to be hampering this progress of the benefits of palm oil, then people can read for themselves now.
Sure.
And the competition is with the likes of olive oil and corn oil.
Yeah.
And I also read that palm oil is as good as olive oil.
Yeah, right.
But probably 1/5 the cost.
Yeah, right, true. And this work has been published. Work done in, first started with Institute of Medical Research, with the University of Sydney, and some work done in China. So, and all this has been published, you know. But
Amazing.
we have to, let me put this way, we have to continuously do more work and then publish it. Now, new results, I just mentioned you earlier that I have some of this work, additional properties that saturated fats are in fact useful in the right position to reduce fattening.
To make this knowledge more widespread, so that when it goes to the micro level, the consumers, we want them to understand the benefits of palm oil.
That's right.
Can you share with us what are the benefits of palm oil?
Oh, okay.
Nutrition-wise.
Nutrition-wise, okay, for nutrition-wise. There are so many other benefits.
We'll go to the bio fuel.
You see, number one, the oil is quite stable. So if you use it in the normal way of, say, frying.
Like we Malaysians, we love to stir fry our food and deep fry.
So they're less easily oxidized.
Right.
That's number one.
Okay.
Now, the China particularly and the world now is getting to find that instant noodles are quite convenient because they're working hard. All they have to do is just put hot water. Now, if you instant noodle finally got to be fried in oil. If it's fried in palm oil, it's stable.
Okay.
And if you have polyunsaturated oil like soybean, the shelf life is short.
Right.
If you oxidize oil is bad for your heart.
The shelf life of the noodle is longer when it's fried in palm oil because of the stability of the structure. Right.
So first, it's, so nutrition-wise, to have oxidized oil is not good for your health. But
when does the oxidization happen in the oil? Is it when it reaches smoking point when we cook?
No, the oxidation can take place even at room temperature.
It can.
And
even
of
if you
course,
leave, like they say, don't expose it to sunlight. Maybe then oxidization can happen.
The process called autoxidation. Or toxic, or auto-oxidation. But what it means is that the atmosphere, you know, about 21% of the air is oxygen.
Okay.
So when the oil
in a natural
is
state,
contact, even at room temperature, the oxygen and the oil will interact. And it can be oxidized just as you expose butter. You put butter, expose, and it will turn rancid.
Which brings me to the question, is that why the Western community is not too keen on palm oil? Because does it behave differently in a colder weather? Or it's stable in colder weather because it does tend to to become solid in colder weather. Does that change the properties?
Okay. There's another phenomenon which I have to explain.
Okay.
You have to understand that oxygen will attack, the more unsaturated the oil is, the more easily it's oxidized.
Okay.
That is chemistry.
Right, okay.
That's chemistry.
That's your area. That's from chemistry, it came to palm oil.
Any chemist will accept that, we can explain that. Because of the double bond that's present, easily oxidized. So to prevent the oxidation, sometimes you put, when you ship, you put on the nitrogen and so on. Now, the other observation that palm oil doesn't remain clear in the cold weather. Now, to understand that, it's a change of state, you know. It's just like water.
Right.
Now, water is clear.
Okay.
If you heat 100 degrees, it becomes vapor, steam. If you cool it below 0, it becomes ice.
Right.
And so similarly, the molecules in palm oil, some of them will crystallize at low temperature.
Okay.
And there's certain of the triglycerides.
But does that change the
That doesn't change the value.
Okay, it's just a physical
So you
change.
just warm it up, the whole thing clear up again. you raise it to 40 degrees, all will be clear.
Right.
But you see, but palm oil is not the only oil that crystallizes.
All
Olive oil also crystallizes, Lard, coconut oil also crystallized.
Yeah, they all do. They all
They
do.
do, yeah.
Yeah, because people out there, consumers, we really don't understand this.
You don't understand.
When you
It's
see
just-
oil becoming solid, then you think that it's probably gone bad, or
yeah.
the
Is that
nutritional
the
value
water
has gone
become
down.
ice?
Yeah.
It's still water.
It's just a change in shape, but
It's
the
change,
nutrients are
yeah.
still there. Okay, we're going to go to a quick commercial break
Okay,
again.
okay, all right.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the use of palm oil other than nutritional benefits of for the human body.
Okay,
Right after this
all right.
break.
Okay, all right.
Hi, you're still with me, Lakshmi Baker. We're still watching in person, and I'm still with Tan Sri Ong. Isn't he such an adorable person? He's so sweet. You truly are. Tan Sri, just now when we left our viewers, we were talking about the benefits of palm oil, right?
Right.
So one of it was the nutritional benefits.
Yeah.
What is the other benefit that we want to share with our viewers?
Palm oil, remember there's another co-product called palm kernel oil.
Okay.
And these two oils, in fact, because of the composition, they can be, there are a multitude of application. And that's why we call palm oil very versatile.
Right.
Besides the cooking oil and margarine, it's also used for specialty fat with chocolate. We can make chocolate from palm oil.
Yeah.
And not only food, but also it can be used for non-food.
Biodiesel.
Right, biodiesel.
Right.
And your detergents, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not just coconut oil that people say every single part of the tree can be used for something, but palm oil is soon caught up with that as well. It's really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's put the serious stuff aside for a while. We've been talking about palm oil for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah, okay,
I want to
right.
get to know more about this adorable man that I mentioned just now, right? So Tan Sri, you were born a good 79 years ago in Malacca.
All right.
And raised by your grandma, right?
Yeah, right.
And you didn't have parents to raise you at that time.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Tell us a little bit more about this. How come you're raised by grandma?
Okay. But anyway, we had a tradition in the family.
Okay.
So my mother due to deliver, she would go to this ancestral home.
Okay.
So she went to ancestral for my eldest brother. Then came my turn, and she decided to leave me in the ancestral home, which was
okay.
Because it was quite, I don't know, for whatever
Childhood.
reason. But maybe she can't cope with two boys, you know.
Okay.
Boys are naughty, I suppose.
Okay.
So I was left there, and I grew up with a grandmother, but I was very happy actually because
Yeah.
I was
And your father passed away as well. When you
passed
were
away at
7.
the age of 7.
7, right? Okay.
Then I grew up there with my grandmother. But interestingly, she gave me a lot of responsibility. You know?
Grandma?
Yeah.
Okay. And you grew up in the rubber plantations.
Rubber
My father
plantation.
grew up in the rubber plantations
You
as
know,
well. That's
also,
amazing.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So you are a kampong boy at heart, I guess.
Yeah, come over. Yeah.
You still go back to your kampong?
Now and again, yes.
Okay.
And but we have a good orchard and also a possibility of gardening and so on. So I was in charge of everything, you know, from looking after the compound, we grow vegetables, carry water from the well, even clean up the well.
You know, all that, in comparison to our lifestyle these days, right? I think any day I'd want to go back. I mean, maybe not every day, but maybe for the weekends. It sounds so, it's so refreshing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And is that really different from the kind of life you live right now?
Well, yeah, right. I mean, now I'm all right.
You must be doing very well for yourself.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about your family. How many kids do you have?
4 children.
4 children.
I have 2 boys, 2 girls.
Okay.
My eldest son decided to, when I went to Oxford, to my sabbatical, I brought my whole family.
Nice.
And at that time, my eldest son finished his Form 5 quite well, about 8 distinction. Maybe not as well as some of the top students nowadays.
Wow, but still.
But it was good. He done well. And
they tried very hard to fill in Daddy's footsteps, right? Because
I'm not sure.
you were achieving then, you were probably achieving while they were born and after that, and still are. So it's like I said just now, he doesn't give us an excuse to retire at 55 like we earlier planned.
Yeah.
So they're doing really well. Your son is now...
he's a professor of medicine.
in the UK,
in Sheffield, University
right.
of Sheffield, yeah.
Right.
And he's constantly on the nephrology, the kidneys, working on the kidneys.
Nephrology,
And
yeah.
I want to tell you something that he made a remark. Why he's not doing chemistry? He said, Dad, chemistry is so easy.
Right.
So you want to do medicine, more challenging.
Okay.
Oh, he said the chemistry is too easy.
Is that what
so,
he said?
Yeah, right.
He's got such a smart father. So now, kacang putih lah, they say, right, in Malay. Like, I want to do something harder, so he decided to specialize in nephrology. Wow. So what's the other son doing? And
now,
your
the
two
other
daughters?
son went to LSE, London School of Economics.
Such high achievers.
And
Gosh.
then he was in venture capital. Now he's lecturing in finance, management, and how to commercialize invention. So he's lecturing,
Nice.
And
nice.
then my next one is a daughter, and she prefer to do something else, and she's in accountancy.
Okay.
And quite active in that
Corporate
profession,
careers.
corporate area,
Corporate
and
careers,
she's head of audit unit of the company.
Interesting. Your children are doing so
Corporate-
well.
Well,
So, I mean,
yeah.
your children have achieved all this in their lives.
Yeah.
And I believe that you're a strong advocate for the young population, the younger generation, to actually believe in themselves a little bit more. And you're a strong advocate for ideas as well. You keep saying this a lot, that ideas are your priority. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Okay, but maybe before that, I'm just saying my youngest daughter.
Oh, okay,
my
yeah,
youngest
sure, carry on.
Did medicine, and now is with Queen's University.
Okay, Queens.
And doing about medical bacteriology, look after the safety of the wards and in the microbiology area. Now, quite interestingly, I was wondering what influenced them, but somehow my life has some influence in what they're doing. And they want to do research and so on.
They do.
And they do research, medical research. Yeah. Now, your question about the young.
Yeah.
Now, see, I believe that we shouldn't emphasize on hard work. Well, it's important, hard work is important, but we must emphasize on interest.
That's amazing coming from a person, your age, saying that it's just not all about slogging.
Yeah, because, the reason is that if you are interested, you'll be working hard without realizing that you're working hard.
Yeah.
But if you just work hard, people wondering, when should I stop working hard,
Yeah.
But if you're interested, you keep on working, and you work very hard actually. But you say, that's no work, it's pleasure, something like that.
So, what is your secret? Let's just part with you sharing with our viewers and with me.
Yeah.
What is the secret?
Yeah.
I don't think people would guess you're 79. You're going on to 80. You still are working in this office.
Yeah.
You've got boxes of research material to review, and you're going strong. What is your advice for people out there who probably think that 60 is the age to retire? How do you go on?
No, okay. Now, to answer that, when I was much younger, in the 30s, and I was talking to my other siblings, they all want to retire before 40.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm not going to retire not because retirement is no good, but I'm happy in what I'm doing. Why should I retire? Why do you want to retire for something something for activity you're happy in? If you're happy to do something, like you ask an artist to retire, he loves painting,
If you love your job,
and why are you
then why do you
retire from? So I'm in that state.
That's your secret.
I love to. Actually, what I love to is understanding, not so much about making money, but I'm interested to understanding nature.
Right.
I'm fascinated by nature, and one of my interests is to find out what is not known. Just like the nutrition and so on, and to this is different from, it's like adventure. Sometimes as an adventure, you go to a place to discover things, but in my case, it's an adventure in the mind. You want to know the truth of certain things, and you have to deduce this. You need a mental eye, not your. Of course, my eye is getting falling, but I can't see. I can't see the molecules. I can see how they react. But the excitement is based on their properties. You know, what they show, the evidence of what their properties are, of observation. I deduce that something is happening, and then I design experiment to test that what I think is correct.
And that entire process does everything for you. That's what you live
everything.
for.
It's hypothesis or hypothesis to theory. So.
Yes, and I'm confident you're just going to keep going, and there are going to be new things you're going to discover. And I'm not ready to see you go anytime soon. I'm sure our viewers share the same feelings. That's all for In Person this episode. Tan Sri Ong, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure meeting you. You're such a beautiful soul. That's all for In Person for today. Stay tuned next week for another amazing episode of In Person with me, Lakshmi Baker, again, where we will be interviewing yet another amazing, stimulating, stirring personality. Bye for now.